Big wins already for Liverpool and Arsenal this afternoon. Now it's Manchester City's turn. At home to Chelsea, at the Etihad, with Leon Osman and John Murray.
Yes, thank you very much, Mark. Good evening from inside Manchester City's Etihad Stadium. And next we have, here in the pouring rain of north-west England, the champions Manchester City against Chelsea. This latest meeting of the last two Premier League clubs to win the Champions League. And in fact, Chelsea have not beaten City since the night in Porto when they played each other in the final. Well, it was a minor classic in November when they met at Stamford Bridge in the pouring rain. And Leon Osman, we have them meeting again here tonight in the pouring rain. So let's hope for more of the same.
That's it, guaranteed then, isn't it? We're going to see the same. Well, we'd love to absolutely see a match of that calibre, the goals flying in, two teams really determined to win. I think we'll get that. I think we'll get teams that are determined to win. I think we'll get teams of different styles. I'm just really looking forward to seeing if we can get the goals again.
Manchester City have Ederson in goal, Captain Walker, Akanji, Diaz and Ake, then Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, Alvarez, Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland. And Chelsea have Petrovic in goal. There's the whistle from referee Andy Madley. The game begins with Chelsea kicking off, playing the ball back into central defence. It's fired downfield and then City clear it away out of play on the halfway line. The rest of the Chelsea team, Gusto, there was a bit of a doubt over him, but he's fit. Disasi in central defence with Colwill, who is in for the injured Thiago Silva. So Colwill in central defence, Chilwell at left back, then Caicedo and Fernandes, Gallagher, Palmer, Sterling and Jackson. And Manchester City on the attack. With the ball on the left-hand side, Jeremy Doku playing it back towards Ake, who goes back to the halfway line. So Doku in the team because Grealish is out with the groin injury that he picked up when we were in Copenhagen with them on Tuesday night. So Grealish is out. Bernardo Silva, who also picked up an injury that night after a bad tackle, he is on the bench like John Stones. And of course we have Cole Palmer and Raheem Sterling, two former City men in the starting lineup. This Cole Palmer's first return to Manchester since leaving early this season. Chelsea have lost it centre field. Alvarez to the edge of the area. Haaland in the D. He sets it up and the shot is whipped wide. Right-footed shot across the penalty area by Alvarez, who was yard wide with that effort.
Yeah, it wasn't too far. Really good play from City. Very, very sharp, as you come to expect when play involves Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland. As you mentioned, Alvarez arriving on the scene late, connected with it really well, just wide of the target.
Yeah, I was kind to him there. It was probably 3 or 4 yards wide in the end.
I don't want to pull you up, John.
No, not at this early stage. You can leave that for later. So that is Leon Osman, former Everton and England midfielder, with us alongside me here for the commentary as we sit at the back of the lower tier. Mauricio Pochettino on this pouring wet night has got a black baseball cap on his head. But City with the ball in front of their penalty area, and it's carried forward by Ederson, who just passes it to Akanji, who gives him it back. Whenever I see these two on the edge of the coaching area here, Pep Guardiola and Mauricio Pochettino, I immediately think of that brilliant Champions League tie between the two, which was on the way for Pochettino's Tottenham to the final itself. Thrilling night. Raheem Sterling played a big part in that as well, as Chelsea play the ball back towards the edge of the penalty area. So Colwill and Disasi, Leon, in central defence for Chelsea. So Colwill, who's played most of this season, when he's played, he's coming back from injury at the moment in the left back position, but central defence tonight.
Yeah, I think that's where ultimately he'll play most of his games. I think he's more natural in that central position. I think obviously with the injury to Thiago Silva, obviously needed to go in there, and he'd been out injured himself, so when he came on against Palace he was only just returning from injury, so great to see him get up to speed so quickly.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. BBC Radio 5 Live. This is our latest commentary of this weekend with the champions in the sky blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks against Chelsea in their all very dark away kit with the white trim. Ball back into the penalty area to Ederson, and the rain continues to steadily fall, as it has done. If you've been listening all afternoon, I think it's raining in most parts today. We'll have more reaction to the afternoon matches at half time, but Manchester City with Nathan Ake in possession. Nathan Ake, who plays it out to the right-hand side, here to Kyle Walker. Sterling against Walker. That'll be interesting because Sterling had some successes against Kyle Walker in the 4-4 in November. And as a challenge comes in just down in front of us here, and it's a free kick to Chelsea after the foul on Akanji.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be the key when Chelsea get the ball. Raheem Sterling in possession, running into those spaces that Manchester City leave down the side of the centre-backs. But interestingly now, with Chelsea out of possession, he's gone in alongside Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo really to try and make Chelsea a midfield three. Conor Gallagher's gone, sort of edges up and becomes part of the front three alongside Jackson and Cole Palmer at times, just to try and really thicken up that middle band of the field and make sure that City can't play through it easy.
Yeah, so Jackson playing quite centrally, having been playing on the left-hand side in recent matches. But you're right, it's almost like a 4-2-4, isn't it?
Well, Jackson's going towards the person on the ball in Diaz. Cole Palmer is then doing Ake on the other side, and obviously City get out so often with Rodri going into them positions, but Chelsea have told Conor Gallagher just to go all the way in there. That means when Akanji steps into midfield, somebody's got to be in that position to go with it, and they've decided that it's Raheem Sterling's job on this occasion. He's got to double up to do Walker at times and to step in on Akanji.
Yeah, 0-0. Manchester City still with the ball inside their own half, but tactically interesting already between Guardiola and Pochettino, who the Chelsea manager really trying to do a Manchester City with this type of formation. Here is Sterling, 2 matches on the bench, has come on as a substitute in both of them. A gentle chorus of boos from the Manchester City fans as Sterling plays it up the left hand side to Jackson, who is challenged by Diaz, and then the ball runs free for Ben Chilwell, and now Sterling shielding it from Diaz, but it bounces away after the challenge comes in centrally from Rodri, and then Foden is shoved over by Enzo Fernandez, and it's a free kick to Manchester City, just inside their own half.
Quite cynical from Enzo Fernandez. Good skill from Phil Foden, but really good piece of skill, and quite positive from Raheem Sterling when the ball fell to him in his own half. He could have just laid it off. He decided to turn and just run in behind Kyle Walker, and then you saw the possibility, an avenue of attack. Jackson in behind that central line.
Here comes City. Here comes De Bruyne, gives it to Foden on the right hand side. 2 Chelsea players in on him. Fernandez went in for the challenge there, but he just got a toe on the ball, and then Ben Chilwell against his England teammate. Chilwell wins a throw in halfway inside Chelsea territory. Well, that was effectively defended by Chelsea, but I did wonder there whether it was going to open up for City.
Yeah, I wasn't too concerned when Foden was getting a chill. I think that'll be a good battle, the way they're both prepared to be physical, throw the shoulder in. We've just seen them both prepared to get off their feet and make challenges, but you did wonder. Enzo Fernandez already looks like he's playing on the edge of his emotions in this game, and already dangled his legs a couple of times.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0, and Chelsea with the ball at the back in their own right back position. Comes up to the halfway line, nice touch from Jackson, laid it off to Gallagher. Gallagher in good goal scoring form with 3 goals in his last 2 matches. Now Cole Palmer also being booed over there on the right hand side, the Manchester City fan. Lovely ball in, Fernandez with a touch, Gallagher plays it across the edge of the 6-yard box, but it was behind Jackson who'd made his run into the 6-yard box, and so Walker was able to clear, but promising from Chelsea.
Oh, it was really good play from Chelsea. It started really right from their own half, and the way they went through the gears and went through that City line as well. Cole Palmer cutting in from the side of the field, firing it into Enzo Fernandez. He just spun it round the corner for Conor Gallagher just to run over his shoulder, and he fired it across that 6-yard box. I'm just seeing a replay. Pochettino frustrated and his striker wasn't there to put it in. He made a run for the tap in, and it just got pulled back a touch, and it just was a little bit behind him. But good play from Chelsea.
Sterling sets off on a run, but runs into Akanji, who just stands up strong, middle of the half, and is able to make a successful challenge. And Manchester City played downfield for Doku, who I think was grappled to the ground there. He was actually tangling with Gusto, and the two of them went down together, and as Doku tried to wriggle away, he was tugged back, and Andy Madley certainly given the free kick, but I mean Gusto had a handful of his shirt there.
Yeah, I think he's got it right as well, the referee. I thought at first maybe Doku had initiated the contact, but a few occasions now the referee's just allowed the players to come together. They allowed a little bit of physicality, especially with the conditions. He's allowing a little bit, and on that occasion it was right. Doku just about came off on top, fouled by Gusto.
Yeah, tugged his shirt, had a big handful of shirt, which made me wonder whether he might have thought about a yellow card. but it's just a free kick. Chelsea holding a very high line. Still 0-0. 8 minutes played here at the Etihad Stadium. And free kick. De Bruyne, of course, is over this. So it's near the halfway line, probably 15 yards inside the Chelsea half, out towards the left flank. Foden is there as well, but De Bruyne waiting to, you would think, just drop it in on the edge of the penalty area. Rodri and Akanji being manhandled. It's Foden who plays it left-footed. That's headed away on the edge of the box. It comes out for the shot from Alvarez, hits the head of a defender. Ball loops in the air. Petrovic comes for it, tries to go for a punch. Might have been impeded. As it turns out, he was quickly back on his feet. The ball bounced up and he was able to catch it.
Yeah, I think he actually was impeded. I think it was, maybe it was Akanji who was closest to him. Just jumped into him as the ball was in. Just an arm, just put him off balance, and very fortunate that the ball bounced back his way.
Chelsea playing the ball out from the back effectively. Chilwell's pass downfield is cut out by a sliding Akanji, and it's out of play next to Conor Gallagher on the halfway line. Yeah, so it's interesting, this Chelsea front four, because that's what it is. Sterling on the left, then Jackson and Gallagher in the middle, and Palmer on the right hand side, and they've had some successes already. But Manchester City now coming forward. De Bruyne, who's just been superb since he's come back from this injury. Kevin De Bruyne, now 32 years old, 33 in the summer. This is his 8th appearance since he's come back. He's got a couple of goals, he's got assists, and now he's watching from the right wing, actually. All of that hair of his much bigger hair plastered to his head in the Manchester rain. Alvarez playing it to the left hand side to Doku, puts his foot on the ball. Doku just holds it and then gives it back to Ake, then back to Doku on the left hand side. It's Doku against Gusto. Palmer comes across as well. It's in the full back position. Doku trying to find a way past the two Chelsea men, actually makes the pass, but that's nicked away by Gallagher, and Chelsea look to counter-attack. Jackson on the right hand side, they cross the halfway line. Sterling making the run through the middle, but Jackson's passes is overhit by a distance through to Ederson.
Yeah, well, there's already been possibilities in this game for Chelsea. We know the way Manchester City play, and yes, they are pushing forward, good possession of the ball, but Chelsea are creating opportunities on their counter-attack. That was a quality pass away from maybe getting Raheem Sterling through on goal. Look, Nicholas Jackson just losing concentration at the crucial moment, but yeah, it started really well this game. It's quite lively.
It is, with now Liverpool top with 57 points, Arsenal with 55, and Manchester City with 52 points. The big wins for what are now the top two earlier, and actually Arsenal now have the best goal difference of the top three, plus 36 to Liverpool's plus 35 and Manchester City's plus 31. Dramatic change in the last week. Alvarez on the left gets the crossover, and Haaland somehow gets up and is able to get a header on goal, even though it's wide of the top right corner. I have to confess, I thought it was over his head, that one, but it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly, and for most people, because of that situation, you say, oh, that was unfortunate, maybe it was just a touch high, but for him, I think we expect him to score them. I think, just watching the replay back, he's got his head in his hands. I think he does get up high enough. I think he does just try and direct it right into the top corner. Don't think he needed to be as accurate. Maybe if he just guides that inside the goal frame, I think that puts his team ahead.
He timed the leap brilliantly.
His spring is incredible, isn't it? I mean, the fact that Manchester City make the movements that they do create spaces in between centre halves, and he was behind Colwill. He had the run on him. Colwill couldn't do anything about stopping the leap of Erling Haaland, but as you mentioned, his leap was incredible. He just didn't direct the header well enough.
Well, his leap the other night in Copenhagen had to be seen to be believed. So he's come back, quite literally, Leon, with a spring in his step. He has Sterling to the edge of the area, goes for goal, but a weak shot, and Ederson just dropped down to his left and made a routine save.
Yeah, I think that's how you describe it, a routine save. But I think this is what Chelsea are kind of after happening. Walker just up the pitch, getting Raheem Sterling running into that space, running at Akanji, backing into his own penalty area, dropped his shoulder, didn't quite hit his shot as he would like. But Chelsea, I wondered how they'd approach this game, whether they'd try and sit back and be resilient and maybe hit on the counter-attack, because they've got a lot of options that way. And they've come here to have a go at City.
0-0. Now it's Manchester City coming forward. Good promise early on in this match. De Bruyne swings the ball over, but it's beyond everyone in the penalty area. Doku, though, has it on the far side in the right back position for Chelsea. Alvarez gives it back to Ake, then back to Alvarez again. Little touch from him. He had his rest in Copenhagen. Unused substitute Alvarez on Tuesday night. De Bruyne now plays it with the outside of his right boot. Shock of shocks. He got it wrong, misplaced it, and Chelsea were able to clear on the edge of the area as Disasi stepped in. Now Manchester City collect possession again. Rodri there knew instinctively, I think, that Caicedo was coming, and as he arrived behind him, just passed it away, and Manchester City have got it back inside their own half. But Walker playing it up to Haaland, who then angles it back halfway inside Manchester City territory, so they start again from inside their own half. I'm not sure the Chelsea section is absolutely full today, and if you haven't heard in advance of this match, there are transport problems tonight. There was a train cancellation, so whether Chelsea fans have changed their plans simply because they're not able to get home if they've come, so you really feel for them. Again, it's the awkward nature of matches being played at this time of the day on a Saturday night. Here's Foden on the right hand side. Foden's ball in field. Akanji, and that's short, so Chelsea are in business. Sterling takes it forward. Akanji tackles him back, but Sterling keeps the ball, gives it to Cole Palmer. Palmer, who scored for 4-4 at Stamford Bridge, waits for the arrival on the right of Gusto, who falls as he looks to cross and hits the first defender. And now with Chelsea having men out of position, dangerous for them, because Manchester City sweep downfield with Doku. Doku now approaching the edge of the penalty area, gives it square. They want Rodri to shoot. He does shoot, but it was deflected at source by Fernandes, and Chelsea just about get it away. In fact, referee Madley has brought it back for a Chelsea free kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's given the foul there, which on the scheme of things, what he's let it go so far is probably a touch strange, and I think Pep Guardiola is trying to tell him that. But both these teams are at their best when they've got spaces to run into. We've just seen that good bit of pressure on Akanji winning the ball. Chelsea break forward, brilliant return play from Alvarez to get back and help his team. Great break from Manchester City, running into space. Chelsea on the back foot, but again good defending. So I think we may see slower moments within this game where they build up slowly, but things don't half come to life when they've got space to run into.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. The players glistening under the floodlights with all of this rain that is falling. I think it's eased slightly, but at times it has been torrential, and Pep Guardiola, as he comes forward in his hooded coat, you can see it on his shoulders and arms, and indeed the top of his head gleaming away as well. Pep Guardiola. City with the ball inside their own half. We had to get here early for 5 Live Sport today. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise because we missed the rain. Here's Doku. Doku on the left-hand side attacking Gusto. Gusto puts in the challenge, and then it bounced back onto Doku, who in any case slipped. So Chelsea look forward, look to break again. You can tell what they've been working on this week in advance of this match. And now Cole Palmer skips away on the right-hand side. He's got his former teammates all round him. Palmer, though, overruns it, and Ake is able to win that little battle. Although Ederson is put under pressure by Jackson, who dispossesses him. But he's taken the ball out into the full-back position and then crosses it into the box, straight into the path of Akanji, who is able to clear. Comes back again at the Manchester City defence. Fernandes, now Gallagher on the edge of the area. Palmer could be in, but no, Ake slides in and puts in the challenge. Got there first and angled it out. And Cole Palmer, I think he must have had the slot machine eyes there for a moment when he saw the ball heading his way.
No, but it's good play from Chelsea. Quite often when Ederson gets the ball, everything slows down. Jackson didn't give him a second. He won the ball back, kept the Chelsea attack going, and actually takes a brilliant tackle from Ake. The ball was played from Gallagher just on his inside shoulder, on his right shoulder. He had to turn to his left, full stretch. Palmer coming in to stroke it into that far post with his left foot. Just about got there. Gave away the corner, but he won't mind that from that position.
Just watching on the screen here, great reaction from Palmer, who knew exactly what it would have meant if he'd been able to get there ahead of Ake. Close run thing, still 0-0. But it is a corner to Chelsea. There's been some really promising moments from Chelsea, who've won their last 2 away matches. Palace on Monday night, and then Villa in the Cup when I don't think many expected them to. Here's the corner then for Chelsea, delivered into the 6-yard box. That's headed away by Diaz. It comes out for Chelsea. Sterling turns it away from Doku, back out to the right. Gallagher's ball in. Diaz with the clearance. De Bruyne was beaten to it by Caicedo on the edge of the box. Caicedo now to Cole Palmer, who's over towards the left-hand side here. And Cole Palmer then just gives the ball, and Chelsea go back towards the halfway line. Cole Palmer, the top scorer for Chelsea this season with the 12 goals that he scored, but also scored 2 goals for Manchester City this season in the Community Shield when City lost out to Arsenal at Wembley on penalties, and also in the UEFA Super Cup match in Greece. So 2 goals for City, 12 goals for Chelsea. Passes the ball forward here via a deflection. It's out of play for a throw into Chelsea on the right hand side, who have given Leon Osman as good as they've got so far.
Certainly have, and I think there are also moments that maybe as the game progresses they may take advantage of. And Jackson, I think I've seen him play better recently when he's off the left hand side, back through the middle again today, knowing that maybe City like to push up and like to play aggressively. He's made 3 or 4 runs that if the pass had been played he'd have been through on goal. Being aggressive with their play so far, Chelsea nearly had their rewards.
So it is Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. Phil Foden just collecting the ball inside his own half. Walker passing it across the edge of the penalty area. Ederson, who's already had a scare, and in these very, very wet conditions, you know, maybe it's not a night for Ederson for absolutely last second. Is it? Or is it? Or does that not make any difference?
I'm not sure it'll make a difference to him. I don't think he'll change his game, having been caught on the ball already either. I think it's just the way that he and this Manchester City team play.
Ake powers into the challenge on the left hand side, wins the ball back. Manchester City with Diaz just puts his foot on it, then drags it back, and then with his left foot finds Alvarez playing centrally, very comfortable in that position as well, isn't he, Alvarez? Coming back into the team here. Ake goes into the penalty area, but I think throws himself down. I think the ball had already gone. He was trying to win a free kick. Whether there was contact from Fernandes, I'm not so sure. He's certainly not made anything of it. And if Jackson had been able to find his ball forward, but he hasn't, City won it back, but then it bounced away from Haaland. And now it is Chelsea who come forward after Fernandes gives it to Raheem Sterling. Collected so many trophies, Raheem Sterling, such an important part. Had one season, if you remember, Raheem Sterling, where he scored 31 goals in the season for Manchester City. This season they've been rather harder to come by, as indeed they were last season, even though he was the top scorer, joint top scorer for Chelsea last season with 7 so far this season. And a ball forward to Chilwell, who in any case was in an offside position. So it's a free kick to Manchester City, halfway inside their own half. If you've just switched on, if you've been out and about this afternoon and haven't heard, we will round everything up for you at half time. Of course, it'll all be on the football pages of the BBC Sport website and app. But big win for Liverpool, 4-1 at Brentford. In our 3 o'clock commentary, Arsenal handsome winners again, 5-0 today after 6-0 last Sunday. Villa won, Nottingham Forest won, Wolves won, finished Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2 at St James's Park. And in Scotland, big news, Celtic 1, Kilmarnock 1. So Rangers will have the chance to go top tomorrow when they play at St Johnstone at lunchtime. Also the Championship leaders, Leicester, losing at home to Middlesbrough. So more on all of that at half-time, and more interviews to come as well. And then 6:06 as well once we're finished here with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage, as long as Chris gets himself from Turf Moor into the BBC studios on the other side of this fine city. Chelsea playing the ball out from the back up to Palmer, and then Palmer, Manchester City fan when he was growing up, left-footed ball forward. That is onside for Gusto. Gusto takes it on. Jackson in the middle, takes a touch. Ederson comes out, smothers at his feet. Big chance for Chelsea, and Jackson not taken.
Oh, you have to score them opportunities. I was calling it early in the game. This highline City have got.
And after that, City at the other end. De Bruyne in the box on the left-hand side, shielding it from Fernandes, then gives it back out to Doku, who allows it to run and then plays it back up the line. Playing against a team that have not lost in their last 33 home matches against all comers in all competitions. At 0-0, you have to take chances like that, and Nicholas Jackson was unable to. Ederson making a good save at his feet, but he should have scored. And here's Doku now. You know what very often happens in these sort of circumstances. Doku that just wins the corner.
Yeah, just as we see Nicholas Jackson with his hands on his head, but City are trying to hold this line as high as possible, and Cole Palmer for once just plays the pass blindly, so to speak, and it just lets Gusto, who's made the run in behind, and as he plays it across, I don't know, Nicholas Jackson felt like he needed a touch. I think it was there to be hit with his right foot had he wanted to. First touch was wrong.
Corner taken short by City, and it comes to Alvarez, who misses that completely, slices it across the box. Foden heads it forward, half-headed away, and then volleyed away out of play by Fernandes, and Akanji has taken a bang in there on the head. And actually, I think the City players are suggesting it might have been an arm. But there is concern for Akanji, who's taken a knock on his head. So obviously we have a stoppage in play. Why aren't they sending the medical people on?
So sure, only if the player says he's okay with the medical staff not join the field. I've just seen it again. It's Disasi up over Akanji, jumps early. His arms aren't swinging wildly. I think they're relatively below him, but because he's up so early, when Akanji goes to jump up, he basically jumps into his arm as much as anything else, and that's where the contacts come from. But Nicholas Jackson, again, we're seeing this moment, this chance, the ball, it's a great pass into him. Maybe he just ran beyond, half a yard beyond the ball, which meant he needed that touch in his mind, and gave Ederson the chance to make what was a wonderful save.
Throw in, Akanji's okay, didn't need treatment. I don't think there was any ill intent either from Disasi, as Leon Osman says, just jumped higher than him, so therefore his arm was in exactly couldn't be anywhere else, and it made contact with Akanji, didn't need treatment, and City now have the ball in the end to our right. We've got two Super League matches taking place right now in the first week of the new season. Richard Stead's watching Castleford against the defending champions Wigan.
24 minutes gone, John. It's absolutely raining cats and dogs here as well. 2 points apiece. The two sides have exchanged penalties. Wigan down to 12 at the moment. Harry Smith is in the sin bin.
And in the other match, Warrington winning 4-0 at Catalans. 0-0 here in the Premier League. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. You don't hear people say raining cats and dogs very often these days, do you? Ball played forward for Chelsea. Sterling on the edge of the box, but it was just slightly behind him, so Chelsea were back in numbers and then couldn't clear. Gallagher throws himself into this, managed to get something on it. Now Gusto, Doku in with a challenge on him. Doku brings the ball away, keeps it in play, slips it forward for De Bruyne. Oh, a little touch past Disasi. De Bruyne now with space. That's a danger for Chelsea. De Bruyne into Haaland in the box. Back heel flick. Back to De Bruyne. Just couldn't latch onto that. De Bruyne then with the cross is content to win the corner. Alarm bells were ringing all over the eastern side of Manchester for Chelsea when De Bruyne was in that position, but only a corner.
Yeah, the crowd come alive. The City players come alive when De Bruyne is driving forward like that. He plays a good ball into the feet of Haaland in the penalty area, and there was a return past the back heel. Just too heavy. Didn't give De Bruyne a chance, and they did win a corner kick from that attack, and they don't half look dangerous on those attacks.
Here it is from De Bruyne in. Goalkeeper comes. Petrovic gets a punch. There's a suggestion Haaland was being fouled at the back post. Back in it comes. That's headed away by Disasi. Jackson wins it back, does well, plays it to Chilwell. Chilwell couldn't find the pass forward, otherwise Sterling would have had a run from the halfway line. Good game this, Leon. 0-0.
It is. I'm not sure which one to talk about. I mean, that pass from Chilwell there was no City player. I mean, I'm talking the D inside the Chelsea half. There was no City player even beyond that. Raheem Sterling would have had the run of not only his own half, but a bit of, well, the most of Man City's half. Chilwell just could have lifted that pass, and he certainly would have got his teammate in. He tried to thread the eye of the needle. He didn't need to do it. And as you said, it was Phil Foden back cutting that chance out.
Meanwhile, you know, when I was talking about the wrestling, Chilwell was
manhandling.
He was indeed. That's the very word, Leon.
Yeah, I was trying to watch that and talk about something else.
He was. I'll tell you what he was.
Game.
He was dicing with danger there, manhandling Haaland. Good luck with that, incidentally.
Yeah, well, it's just such a mismatch, isn't it? You know, the way the modern way of smaller players picking up big players, so the centre halves can go and attack the ball. It doesn't always work.
Free kick. De Bruyne plays it in, headed across by Haaland, but he headed it into Gallagher, and it bounced down for Chelsea. Here is Jackson, the man who missed the big chance of the match so far, and then in goes Caicedo. Might have actually stepped on Doku as he went in for that challenge. Doku's not made anything of that, but it did look as though he did, and now the ball's bounced off the field, and the referee Andy Madley is just having a look at Doku. Doku now palms apart, says to the referee, what about that?
I think he's got a right to ask. I mean, he was on the floor, the ball was near him, yes. Caicedo came in to win the ball that was right next to his leg, but he stamped through as he won it, made contact with the ball, made contact with the player, and a few Man City players took exception to that. They certainly weren't happy about it, but consistently the referee tried to let it go.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. BBC Radio 5 live from the Etihad Stadium, which is bedecked in sky blue around its various tiers, as Manchester City with Rodri plays it back towards the halfway line. Rodri, such an important figure. Manchester City have not lost in the last 55 matches in which he's played, although one of them was the Community Shield, but they only lost that on penalties. Here's Diaz, plays it out to the left hand side. Ake, and then Ake again, and suddenly the pace is slowed. But we've seen chances at both ends, and this Chelsea team set up today by Mauricio Pochettino, slightly unusually, is giving Manchester City plenty to think about. They'd have given them more to think about if Jackson had scored with that chance, and now Rodri gets his legs taken away from him by Caicedo, who, as we said, has just been involved in a challenge on Doku, and Caicedo comes across to the referee and just says sorry, puts a little hand out, and the referee, I think, was just going to give the free kick, no more than that.
Well, yeah, we're just seeing the earlier challenge on Doku back, and the referee's right there. Doku just looked straight into the eye of the referee, and he's very fortunate there, Caicedo, to get away with that in this modern day football.
Free kick taken, Doku down the left, then swings it in, headed away by Chilwell at the back post. Still 0-0. Next time, Caicedo, it's yellow card, Leon, without doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next time he does anything like that.
The referee has just had a word with him. I think he was right too with that challenge. It was a silly challenge. There was nothing really malicious to it. Definite foul, but yeah, just a warning.
How do you think he's settling, Caicedo? You know, who we were raving about at Brighton, and then he's made this big move at the start of this season for well over £100 million.
Yeah, well, he's certainly not hit the standards that everybody was expecting him to. I don't think any of those either of those 200 million plus pound players have hit the standards. Maybe, a young squad, they're coming in, new midfield partnership, new manager, everything. New country for Enzo Fernandez as well, has just made it difficult for them both. But maybe just starting to see flashes. I think they both had a brilliant opening half an hour in this game. I think this is the standard that we're expecting to see from them week in, week out.
Yeah, it is kind of the go-to midfield for Pochettino, Caicedo, Fernandez and Gallagher. And it is 0-0. And here is Alvarez for Manchester City, another of the Argentine World Cup winners. Plays the ball forward, takes a deflection, out of play, throw-in is taken. Alvarez back out towards the far side, a kind of reverse pass by De Bruyne. His hair flies up as he does that, water coming off it to Doku. Now Rodri back to the left hand side. He has Diaz as well. John Stones on the bench again, and certainly taking no risks, are they, with John Stones' fitness this season. Ball flicked in by De Bruyne into the penalty area. Alvarez was nearly away into the box. Super pass by De Bruyne from the left, but Chelsea break again. This is dangerous. In numbers, Sterling just keeps it, just holds it up, and then Fernandez actually plays it behind Chilwell, so the momentum has slowed.
It does. I think that's how I expected the game to go, though. Manchester City having control, moving the ball around well. I think for that previous 5 minutes, Chelsea were happy for that to be the case.
Fernandez chips one over the top for Sterling. The flag stays down. Oh, poor touch from Sterling, and he's been rescued because the flag did go up. He was through there. It was a terrible touch. It's like a back pass to Ederson. But City come forward. Now Doku flying into the box. Right foot shot. That's straight at the goalkeeper. And Petrovic could go down and just field that quite comfortably, as though a ball had been turned out to mid-wicket.
Yeah, and we're just seeing the replay. I think Raheem Sterling was maybe just half a yard offside, but you're right, his touch was dreadful. It came from City trying to hold that high line again. And Manchester City countering the counter, getting Doku in. I think I expected that Man City would play the ball in Chelsea's half, that Chelsea would be quite hard to beat, would counter-attack very well. I think they have done that in the first half, Chelsea. I think they've counter-attacked very well. I think they've got good numbers forward. They've created chances. They should, for chances alone, be ahead. Certainly for quality of chances. And you have to take those when they come, because Manchester City will figure out a way of stopping those attacks from happening.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. And we've got just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. So we'll have more on the the earlier football today and the rest of the top sport as Doku miscontrols a ball that is played ahead of him, straight behind for a goal kick. Cheers from the Chelsea fans in that corner, who might be raising their hopes that they might be able to get something here today. They don't play at all now until next weekend, when it is the Carabao Cup final at Wembley against Liverpool. So Chelsea have got all week to prepare for that. Liverpool have picked up more injuries today and also play against Luton in midweek. And as Caicedo is in quite heavily from behind on De Bruyne, and you know what that roll means? It's a yellow card for Caicedo. You can't say I didn't warn him.
No, absolutely. But as his fouls have gone so far, that wasn't the worst. I think he made an actual attempt to get the ball.
It wasn't the worst, but crucially it was the next.
It was the next, and it was the last before a yellow card as far as the referee was concerned, because as you mentioned, he had warned him, and from Tottenham fouls up alone, probably just about ready for a yellow card.
Yep, 0-0 then, and Manchester City with a free kick. Now they've had one from round about here before, and Foden took it left-footed, so it was a kind of outswinger. But De Bruyne looked like the more likely taker last time. Chelsea holding a slightly deeper line. It is Foden. Foden takes it, and it's headed away by a twisting Colwill out into the full-back position, where Gallagher takes up possession and hits a right-footed pass for Sterling to chase against De Bruyne. His former teammate De Bruyne gets there quite comfortably and is able to pass it back to goalkeeper Ederson, who immediately passes it out to Diaz. Just slows the pace of the ball and then gives it to Ake on the left-hand side. So still 0-0. Manchester City have scored at least one goal, and usually many more, on each of their last 44 home appearances in this stadium in the Premier League. So that was since Crystal Palace won here back in the October of 2021. Walker curling a pass over the top to Haaland, who stuck out a leg, got a touch on it, but it runs through to Petrovic, who is sliding out across the wet grass and was able to take the ball quite comfortably and then just underarm it out now to Colwill, who will tap it back to Petrovic. Sanchez is not on the bench, by the way. He's back in training, Robert Sanchez, but not on the substitutes bench for Chelsea today, the former Brighton goalkeeper. Ball played out for Chelsea, who will carry it up towards the halfway line, and it is given away. Chelsea, Manchester City have it back with Haaland, and then Sterling in from behind on Rodri, who goes down under the challenge of Sterling, who's about 3/4 of his height. Rodri plays it back into the centre circle to Diaz. Now Ake to Doku, so almost got his heels on the white line over there. Back to Nathan Ake, the former Chelsea youngster as he was. Now Rodri swings a ball out here to the right hand side. How familiar does that feel to see Rodri doing that? The recipient here is Phil Foden. Foden playing it back in field. Kyle Walker has his attention drawn to the fact that Gallagher has a problem, so Walker very obligingly has turned and put the ball out of play.
Yeah, surprising. I'm not sure I would have done it myself, but
not a head injury, is it?
Yeah, Conor Gallagher,
or is it?
England teammate, and he doesn't go down lightly majority of the times, Conor Gallagher, so decided to put the ball out.
So Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. Little stoppage here while they see how Gallagher is. So Richard Stead can bring us up today with the Rugby League.
Yeah, not a great deal of action as far as tries are concerned, John. 4 points apiece, all from penalties. The talking point, a red card for Castleford Tigers prop forward Liam Watts for a high tackle. Wigan are back up to 13. The home side will have to do it with 12 for the remaining time. It's 4 points apiece.
You can watch that on BBC Two, by the way, right now, that match. And Catalan 0, Warrington 4 in the other match, which was also a 5:30 kickoff. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 0. All of the sport covered tomorrow, including that Rangers match at St Johnstone, right from the start of 5 Live Sport. We'll have the latest on the cricket at breakfast, of course. Might have a lie-in the morning after today's events. The Test Match Special podcast available, Jonathan Agnew and everyone, after every day's play. And then commentary tomorrow, 2 o'clock, Sheffield United against Brighton. and then 4:30 Luton against Manchester United. You'll hear both of those on 5 Live tomorrow. Here's Doku, hits the referee. He tried to play it to Akanji. Referee couldn't react quickly enough, and it's it's a uncontested drop ball on the halfway line.
Yeah, he just couldn't get out of the way, the referee. Good play from Doku. It's been a good battle. There's been many good battles all over the pitch. The minute Chilwell's winning the one against Foden, we haven't heard enough of him. Gusto and Doku having one as well.
Here is Foden, takes the ball down over on the right hand side after Rodri's pass to him, and then Akanji overhits it for Foden down the right, and across comes Chilwell to put it out of the play. Listen, I know most of the games Manchester City are involved in are high octane, lots of pressure, but you know, we were there in Copenhagen with the commentary the other night. You know, that was a fully charged occasion, that, against Copenhagen. Champions League, first round of the last 16, and yes, they won it comfortably in the end, but that has to be a factor coming into this match. Don't care who you are.
Yeah, but they're very experienced at doing it. This Manchester City team, they know how to go away and win games. They know how to come back and also win games in the Premier League to secure the title. So yes, they're difficult. Yes, it probably does take a little bit of a toll mentally, physically, but Pep Guardiola is very experienced at it. He knows who's ready to step into battle only a few days later.
Yep, they've done it time and again. Amazing run, won every match in the Champions League this season, and scored 3 goals in every match in the Champions League this season so far. Here is Doku bringing the ball in from the left hand side. Rodri pulls it back. Rodri being put under pressure by Gallagher, who you'll gather is okay, and then actually challenges Rodri and takes his legs away, and that's a free kick to Manchester City 10 yards inside the Chelsea half.
Conor Gallagher's doing a really good job on Rodri at the minute. He's not giving him a sec. How often we see Rodri dominating games by being that pivot and being that release pass for everybody. Conor Gallagher's right there.
Oh, De Bruyne with a pass to Foden on the edge of the area. It bounced off him, back to him, off the Chelsea defender. I thought he was going to be in there for a moment. Classic De Bruyne ball in to Foden, wasn't it? Just spotted the opportunity there and just stroked it with high quality as Ake is shoved over on the far side by Cole Palmer, went sprawling across the grass. It's a free kick, no more than that, but a free kick out on the left wing.
Yeah, and City are really starting to camp in this Chelsea half now. We haven't seen them stay here for as long as they are doing at the moment.
Ball scooped in to Alvarez, got a touch on it, bounced back to him, went for the volley, hit the defender in there, who was Fernandes actually. And now Chelsea break, one ball forward from Palmer, Jackson onto this, Sterling's available, Jackson with the pass, it's good, it's into the path of Sterling, who drags it back past Walker and scores, and Chelsea take the lead, and it's Raheem Sterling. What an effective Chelsea counter-attack that was, and at the end of it, Sterling beat Walker in the box and shot past Ederson to give Mauricio Pochettino's team the lead here against the champions, where they've not lost for 15 months. Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1.
Oh, it's an absolutely perfect attack, counter-attack from Chelsea. I said Manchester City were starting to camp in the Chelsea half. They were starting to extend themselves. Their fullbacks were pushing further and further up, leaving themselves exposed at the back, and Chelsea have completely utilised that exposure. One good bit of skill from Nicholas Jackson on the edge in his own half, a little back heel, just released that Chelsea attack down the right hand side. Lovely pass forward, even better pass across into Raheem Sterling, who I actually thought when he made a touch with his right foot, he needed to hit it with his left foot, with Kyle Walker closing him down quickly. He didn't. He did what we all know he was going to do. He chopped back onto that right foot. Kyle Walker went sliding past, and he passed it back across Ederson into that far corner. Pep Guardiola is going absolutely berserk down on the bench in front of us as he sees his team fall behind.
Yes, they're behind Manchester City. Here's De Bruyne on the right hand side, pulls the ball back, Foden twists, left foot shot, that hits Colwell in the box, comes back out of the area to Akanji, lifts it into the back post, Doku's ball across the penalty area and conceding the goal. It looks like it's brought Manchester City to life in this match, but half-time approaches. Suddenly though, the tempo is raised. Doku on the left-hand side. Palmer chases him out there. Then Alvarez is there as well. But Raheem Sterling returning here to the Etihad Stadium and scoring against his former club. His 8th goal for Chelsea this season. Left out for the last 2 matches. Like you, Leon, I did wonder whether he'd perhaps delayed to the point where he would not be able to take the opportunity, but as it turned out, he beat Walker, who came sliding in on the ground, and the finish was excellent.
Oh, it was absolutely outstanding. It was all down to the work from Nicholas Jackson.
Yes, do we forgive Nicholas Jackson now for the earlier missed chance after his part in that goal?
Well, it's always a difficult question, that, because Chelsea would much rather be 2-0 up at this stage than 1-0 up. For his brilliant play, good back heel, good run forward as well.
Foden playing the ball in left foot, and crucially Disasi got his head to that because Haaland was lurking behind him, and Disasi just slightly stooped and glanced it behind the far post with, well, two City players either side of him, but
yeah, good
Haaland with the one behind him.
Chelsea's two centre-backs, Disasi and Colwill, have defended those crosses really well in the first half. They've met every ball in there first and made sure they cleared the box.
De Bruyne takes it, it's headed across the face of goal, and then on the back post, headed up and across, and the ball's still being rattling around, but I think it went behind. Haaland actually headed it back across the goal, and he's holding his head again, feeling that he's missed a big opportunity at the back post after the double glance across goal, and all he could do was head it up and beyond the far post.
I mean, it comes at him really quickly. It takes two ricochets, a little bit of pinball, flick on initially from Jackson. Disasi then flicks it or tries to head it away, and he heads it straight to Haaland, who on the angle, back post, outside the width of the back post, is just trying to head it back across. He's trying to generate power on it as well. Missed the target.
So Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1, and we are now in 3 minutes of added time. So is this a twist we're watching here, Leon? Big win for Liverpool at Brentford, very big win for Arsenal at Burnley, and now the champions losing at home.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, it could be a big 45 minutes in the title race this second half, because City haven't been at their scintillating best. They haven't been able to break through this Chelsea team as easy as we've seen them break through other teams, and Chelsea have shown, certainly, as soon as City give them space, they can create chances themselves. So, interesting second half.
Yeah, and Raheem Sterling choosing his moment, having not scored in the Premier League since November. Manchester City, though, coming forward. Doku's low ball across, Disasi slides in and clears it away, and then celebrates like Rafael Nadal as it's a throw into City on the left hand side. Then the ball into the box is worked back, chance, Alvarez gets right underneath it and lifts the shot via a deflection. Not sure it was on target anyway, but it's been deflected wide and away, and it's a corner.
Yeah, I think saying it came off Enzo Fernandez, and it probably does. You're right, he never really seemed comfortable. He didn't seem like he'd set himself perfectly to hit that shot. It was more a bit out of desperation. He ended up pulling the trigger. He got the corner.
Corner from the right. De Bruyne takes this back to Alvarez, who scuffs it right across the edge of the area. Foden takes a touch, shoots, but it was blocked, and it's blocked back to De Bruyne, who then lifts a teasing ball into the area. Ake goes down under a challenge from Colwill. Shouts from the crowd, but not from the players, for a penalty. And Manchester City have to start again on the halfway line. Half-time, we'll hear more of the players and managers who are involved in the big moments this afternoon. I can tell you Aldershot have taken the lead against Altrincham in the 5:30 kickoff in the National League. And here is Alvarez under pressure from Sterling. Raheem Sterling did score against Preston, but that was his only goal in his last 15 appearances before getting this one against his former club here in this stadium. Ake with a left-footed ball in. Haaland gets up and heads it down and wide though by 2 or 3 yards. And it's a goal kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, it didn't miss by much, but I think Chelsea would be okay with that, with Manchester City putting crosses in from probably 35, 40 yards away from goal on the left. Ake swinging it in. Haaland meeting the header 12, 13, 14 maybe yards out from goal. And they take the chances of that. Chelsea, 2 centre-halves made it difficult for him. It's been a good first half so up to this point from Chelsea. City not quite been at it.
All of Manchester City's defeats this season after the Community Shield on penalties, they've all been by 1-0 scorelines. Against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, against Arsenal in October, against Aston Villa in December, and there is the half-time whistle. So 1-0 to Chelsea. it is Leon Osman.
Yeah. Well, we all wondered before the game which Chelsea would turn up today, and Mauricio Pochettino has brought the right one. They've been at it right from the first whistle. They've defended really well. They've got a clear game plan of where to force Manchester City in possession, how they counter-attack, how many bodies they get forward into which areas. And to be honest, Chelsea should have scored a lot earlier than they actually did. Manchester City have been a bit slow, they've been a bit ponderous, they haven't quite actually made Chelsea centre-halves work properly yet. We've not seen any of those slid balls down the side for Haaland. We've not seen any runs in behind the fullback, really. I think they've had it far too easy, so I'm expecting a lot more from Manchester City in the second half, because the way the title race is going, they certainly need to win all 3 points here.
Yeah, not at the best. It does feel like there's a little bit of a hangover from the Champions League. Correction, by the way, 3 of their 4 defeats have been 1-0. They did lose 2-1 at Wolves at Molineux, their first Premier League defeat of the season. But, well, this is quite intriguingly poised at half-time here. The champions, Manchester City, losing 1-0 to Raheem Sterling's goal to Chelsea.
During half-time, we will hear from Mikel Arteta after Arsenal's 5-0 win at Burnley, Jurgen Klopp after Liverpool's 4-1 win at Brentford, and David Moyes after West Ham's 2-0 defeat at Nottingham Forest. Late game in the National League. Aldershot had just got a second on the stroke of half-time. It's Aldershot 2, Altrincham 0. 2 Super League games this evening. Opening weekend of Super League. It's Catalan 6, Warrington 4. And Richard Stead is watching Castleford Wigan.
Half-time here, Mark, and it's all gone a bit wrong for the Tigers after that Liam Watts red card. They trail by 16 points to 4 at half-time. Tries from Patrick Mago and a nice finish from Bevan French as well to hand the Warriors the advantage. The rain stopped, but Wigan will be difficult to stop in the second half. Quick note, Luke Thompson has failed an HIA. He will not play against the Penrith Panthers in the World Club game next Saturday.
Well, you can see that on BBC television as well. It's opening weekend of Super League, also the opening weekend of Netball Super League, and there have been wins so far for Seven Stars, Loughborough, Bath and Manchester Thunder, who beat London Pulse by 56 goals to 40. In the Premier League today, and as I say, reactions come from all of these scores. It was... trust my screen to go wrong at that point. Anyhow, Brentford 1, Liverpool 4, Burnley 0, Arsenal 5, Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2, Newcastle 2, Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 2, West Ham 0, and Tottenham 1, Wolves 2. In the Scottish Premiership, Celtic were held at home by Kilmarnock. That finished 1-1. So if Rangers win at St Johnstone tomorrow, they'll go above Celtic at the top of the table. Championship leaders Leicester beaten at home by Middlesbrough by 2-1. League 2 leaders Stockport thrashed 4-0 at Tranmere. Portsmouth, the only winners in the Football League, who were leading the table at the start of the day, they beat Reading by 4-1. Some sad news from the world of cricket this evening. The former South Africa and Gloucestershire all-rounder Mike Proctor has died. He was 77. His international career was cut short in 1970 when his country was excluded from world cricket because of its apartheid government. He played 14 seasons with Gloucestershire, 5 of them captain. He was a club legend there. Scored over 21,000 runs in first-class cricket, including 47 centuries. He took over 1,000 first-class wickets, and he also took 4 first-class hat-tricks, 2 of which were all LBW. Mike Proctor, who has died at the age of 77. 24 minutes past 6, Dan Maudsley has the news.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. People close to the Russian activist Alexei Navalny say his body is being deliberately withheld by the Russian authorities after his mother was directed to a mortuary only to find his body wasn't there. The Russian prison service said the 47-year-old, who was a critic of Vladimir Putin, died yesterday in a penal colony in Siberia. Kira Yamish is a spokeswoman for Mr. Navalny.
We are completely sure that it was Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, who gave a direct order to kill Alexei. What is happening right now is that they are trying to cover traces. This is why they're not giving the body to his family, and this is why they're just hiding him from them.
Well, Russia says the body will not be handed over to the family until an investigation into his death is completed. They said a post-mortem examination had proved inconclusive and a second one had been ordered. Tens of thousands of pro-Palestinian demonstrators have marched through central London to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. 11 people were arrested for a number of alleged offences, including supporting a banned organisation. And hundreds of people have been marching through Newport and Port Talbot to protest against the proposed loss of thousands of steelworkers' jobs. Last month, Tata Steel said it was closing both its Port Talbot blast furnaces, putting 2,800 jobs across the UK at risk.
This is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's bring you some reaction to the day's Premier League football then. Arsenal put 6 past West Ham last weekend, 5 past Burnley today. They're 2 points behind Liverpool. Here's Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, obviously really happy. A really tough place to come and a really tough lane to earn the right to win the game, and we've done it. We've done it in a really dominating and convincing way. And the team showed a lot of great things today again.
Felt like a big day in the title race with Liverpool winning earlier on and City playing this evening. Just interested in how pleased you were with your team's application, in particular scoring early in both halves.
Yes, that's very important. Obviously, it gives us a platform to take the game where we want it. They are really well coached team, and we knew that was going to be very difficult. But those 2 goals and then the timing, as you said, of the third one made it much easier for us.
Don't know if you're aware of this discussion in the media this week about whether Bukayo Saka is world class or not. Do you think we saw the answer today?
I don't know. I don't mind adjectives. I think he's a tremendous player and it's a huge player for us, that's for sure.
Feels like you're really hitting form at the right time. And just when you think about this season compared to last, is that a major difference for you this year?
I don't know. We are in a really good position at the moment. The team is performing and in the right to win games, and we have some momentum right now, so we better keep it.
On to Liverpool, who won 4-1 at Brentford. Mo Salah scoring on his return from injury, but Curtis Jones, Diogo Jota and Darwin Núñez all picked up injuries. Here's Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen, congratulations. A great result, but is it bittersweet given more injuries?
Yeah, of course. And we can talk about 2 different things. So the one is the injury situation, obviously really horrible. We don't know yet, obviously, but it doesn't look great. It was a knock for the Curtis in that situation. However, we don't know. Didn't even speak to him after half time. We're not sure. Diogo doesn't look good at all. And Darwin felt a little bit. So we thought, come on, no risk. We take him off and brought Cody. So that's a really bad side of it. We don't know how big how bad the situation is, and all the rest was positive. The boys played an incredible game. So definitely the best away game at Brentford we played since I'm in Liverpool.
Horrible day for David Moyes and West Ham. They lost 2-0 at Nottingham Forest, and Calvin Phillips was shown 2 yellow cards in 3 minutes to get sent off at the City Ground. Here's David Moyes with Pat Murphy.
Do you think it was a fair result, David?
I think that we were a bit unlucky that I think it was a really tight Premier League game. Very little in it. We lose a goal right on the half-time whistle, which was disappointing. And we done a lot of good things today. The team I thought showed great fight, great endeavour, showed a great character compared to where we were this time last week. I couldn't have asked much more than that. But what I could have asked for is more quality in the final third. But you've got to remember that probably the team who was really under pressure today was Nottingham Forest, not West Ham. Nottingham Forest are the team who are fighting relegation and trying to get away from that part of the league. We're in quite a good league position, quite a strong position, but we couldn't take our chances when we got any opportunities in the final third.
Aston Villa won 2-1 at Fulham, and Tottenham were beaten 2-1 at home by Wolves, so that's put Villa back into the top 4. Ollie Watkins got both of their goals. Here he is with Jonathan Pearce.
Ollie, that's a very good win. You had to work hard, 2-0 up. It looked like there's only going to be one winner, but they made you work hard for it.
I thought that we were going to push on, maybe get 3 or 4, but that wasn't the case. Fulham responded really well and put us under a lot of pressure. And it could have been a 2-2 game at the end there. So it's a massive 3 points, especially after a home defeat to Man United.
As a striker, you gamble on mistakes, don't you? You have to think he's going to make a mistake. That was a bad mistake that let you in for your first square throw in across the back foot, let you in.
Yeah, JJ's done well to anticipate where the ball's going to go. It's fallen to me in the box. I've just turned and finished, and I didn't have many touches before that. It was nice to get on the score sheet early doors.
How massive was the victory here today? They've just used the word massive because you did have that, what people said, Villa are having a blip. I'm not too sure it was a blip.
they say that because obviously we've had such an unbelievable home run, 17 games unbeaten. So when you do lose, people are going to talk, and there's a bit of a shock. But we've had a lot of injuries, 3 ACL injuries in one season is unheard of. So I think we're doing really well with the squad we've got. A lot of good young players coming through, stepping up, taking their opportunity when it comes, and putting in good performances.
Match of the day is 10:30 tonight on BBC One. Reaction to Tottenham's 2-1 defeat at home to Wolves from Ange Postecoglou with Chris Wise.
Did you leave yourself a bit too much to do today, Ange, after that first half?
Yeah, look, we weren't great first half. Controlled the game enough, we're just not threatening enough, and we didn't put them under enough pressure, and chasing the game is always difficult, especially against a team that's so good on the counter-attack, and we end up paying the price for it.
Fair to say there'll be some disappointment about the first goal that you conceded as well?
Well, I'm disappointed about both goals, mate. Yeah.
Just specifically on that first goal, though, just the marking from the corner, was there some disappointment around that?
Oh, look, I think like I said, both goals were disappointing from our point of view, not just the final actions, but leading up to them. Like I said, we paid the price for not sort of being as concentrated and disciplined around our football.
Obviously, recently you found yourself behind in other games, Brentford and Brighton here, but you managed to find a way back. Why do you think today that wasn't possible?
Oh, look, it wasn't through the lack of effort. We obviously, we kind of had them camped in their half. Obviously, then they go on the break and score a second goal, which makes it a bit difficult. Having said that, we still had some good opportunities there in the end. But like I said, you can't keep sort of coming from behind and expecting that every week. We should be a lot better in the first half.
Ange Postecoglou there. Matt Ritchie got his first Premier League goal since 2020 to get Newcastle a point at home to Bournemouth. Just in the Bundesliga today, another win for Bayer Leverkusen. They won 2-1 at Heidenheim, and that gives them an 8-point lead over Bayern. Bayern play tomorrow at Bochum. An awful lot to react to with Chris and Robbie, who follow us. Here's Robbie.
Set up very nicely, chappers. Harry Kane, did Chris say he might regret going to Bayern Munich as Ange ball burst? 2-1 home defeat against Wolves. Wolves doing brilliantly well, chappers. Arsenal, 11 goals in 2 games. Liverpool, those injuries cost them. Man City, Chelsea, chappers, are ripping Man City apart, with those runs. Signs of great team, chappers. Will City come back and win this game? Chelsea doing exceptionally well. Great win for Nottingham Forest. And what about Celtic, chappers? Not a great day for Chris Sutton. 08085 909 693.
Could be a very long evening for him. In the WSL, Arsenal closed the gap at the top. They beat Manchester United 3-1. So Manchester City won at Chelsea last night by a goal to nil. So Chelsea and City have 34, Arsenal 31. Manchester United some way back now on 24 points in fourth. The Paul Nicholls trained Pic Dory won today's Betfair Chase at Ascot. It's been a busy day of racing across the country. John Hunt can round it all up for us.
Pic Dory delivered a virtuoso performance, surely one of his best ever, when jumping superbly from the front to run Gold Cup entries L'Empresse and Ahuis Senior ragged. The Paul Nicholls trained 9-year-old was dazzling today, but Nicholls will not be tempted to run at Cheltenham in the Ryanair Chase, and we should see him next at Aintree in April. L'Empresse lost little in defeat today, not able to match the pace of the winner. He'll be much better suited by the stamina test of Cheltenham's big race. Yeah Man won the Grand National trial at Haydock. He's not entered at Aintree but will target the Irish Grand National later this spring. And at Wincanton, Kerry Lee landed the big race of the day with Nemean Lion scoring decisively in the Kingwell Hurdle. If he runs in the Champion Hurdle next, he will be one of only a few horses ready and able to challenge superstar Constitution Hill.
John Hunt there as we continue our build-up to the Cheltenham Festival in just under a month's time. Here on 5 Live. Don't forget the Super League this evening. It's on BBC Two if you want to watch it. Castleford are down to 12 and they trail Wigan by 16 points to 4. And that is on BBC 2. Catalan 6, Warrington 4 in the other game that's going on at the moment. They're about to get back underway in the National League with Aldershot and Altrincham, two sides in the playoff positions as things stand. Aldershot leading by 2-0. And they're coming back out at the Etihad. Manchester City with it all to do. They trailed Chelsea by 1-0. Second 45 on the way with Leon Osman and John Murray.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Some rather surprised and concerned City faces around us in the crowd down here just to the left of the tunnel, where the Manchester City players have run out onto the field in their sky blue shirts. No changes, I see. So Ederson in goal, Walker, Akanji, Diaz and Ake, Rodri with De Bruyne and Alvarez forward of him, Phil Foden on the right, Doku on the left, and Haaland up front, who's missed a couple of chances with headers. There's no Grealish today, as you may know. So on the bench for Manchester City, Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, who was a bit of an injury doubt for this. He ended up with a hole in his sock in Copenhagen on Tuesday night, one that he didn't mean to have, but he is there on the bench. And Sergio Gomez is coming back from injury, Mateus Nunes, the former Wolves man, Oscar Bob, Rico Lewis, John Stones and the teenager Suso, as well as goalkeeper Ortega. So that's what Manchester City have got. They are ready to kick off at the start of the second half. Chelsea leading through the goal from their former player Raheem Sterling. There's the whistle and off we go for the second 45 minutes. I'm sure Liverpool and Arsenal supporters will be listening very closely to see what happens over the course of the next 45 minutes. As Manchester City, white shorts, sky blue socks, with Nathan Ake plays the ball back into the middle of his half to Diaz. Chelsea also unchanged. They've got their dark change kit on today, very, very dark blue with the white numbers. Petrovic, the goalkeeper, Gusto, Disasi, Colwill and Chilwell, then Caicedo and Fernandes, and then this midfield of Palmer on the right, Gallagher, Jackson and Sterling. It's like a fluid front four. Now here is Doku, who's won the ball back from Gusto on the halfway line. Gusto dives in, Doku keeps his feet, keeps the ball, then takes on Caicedo, beats him as well. Doku's cross, that's headed out to the edge of the penalty area, but the header away was effective, took it away from De Bruyne, and Manchester City have to collect possession through the Belgian, who just runs his fingers through his hair as the ball is played to Doku again on the left hand side. Doku back towards Rodri, just outside the box, sidesteps the challenge that comes in from Caicedo, who fouls him. He's on a yellow card, and it was a bit of a last-ditch challenge, Leon Osman. He was away, and even though some of the City supporters in the stands are looking to the referee, it's only a free kick.
Yeah, I think he's got it right. I mean, it was a stretch for the ball rather than anything. Rodri just put his foot across where Caicedo was trying to reach for the ball. So Caicedo obviously made the contact, initiated the contact, give away this foul. But you're right, he has to be careful. He can't keep on making fouls like that. We've seen him eventually get that yellow card in the first half, but it took a while for City to actually get in Chelsea's half there. Good start from Chelsea with that press at the start of the second half, but Jeremy Doku has just decided he wanted to take control of that ball there, forced Manchester City to the edge of this Chelsea penalty area.
City have got this free kick left of the tee. It's midway between the D and the edge of the penalty area. It's De Bruyne. I've seen him score a few from here over the years at the Etihad. They've got Palmer lying down behind the wall. De Bruyne comes up right-footed, curls in, just over. That was the width of the crossbar away from the top corner, and Petrovic was standing almost with his hands on his knees, a bit like Alan Rough for Scotland many years ago now, just watching it as it dropped onto the roof of the net.
I'm just looking at the goalkeeper Petrovic's face as well, puffed his cheeks out. He was getting nowhere near that. He must have hit it through the volley. The movement through the air was incredible, just didn't come down quick enough.
Yep, but City, this is promising from them. I had a feeling they might go for a quick start at the start of the second half. 1-0 down here, not lost in their last 33 home matches as De Bruyne plays it in. That's headed away by Disasi. But all the time, Leon, I mean, this is a fascinating one now, because Chelsea have played well here, tactically well. They've taken one of their chances, and Manchester City now are going to dominate it as they attack from right to left. Doku playing it in, curling it beyond the far post. Foden couldn't get there, and it's all the way through for a goal kick. But that means that Chelsea, you would think, will have the chance to break and perhaps get a second.
Yeah, and they broke very well in that first half, and I think they would have expected as well, as we all did, that Manchester City will have spells in this game where Chelsea can't get out. They're camped on the edge of their own penalty area. Well, at the moment they're doing that a goal up, which is absolutely fantastic position to be in. It does give you more options. If they just have to make sure when they do break, they really do create chances and really put City on the back foot.
City with the press from the Chelsea goal kick. They've forced Petrovic to strike it long, and he hit it straight out of play just down in front of us. Rodri now to De Bruyne, who quickly plays it out towards the right hand side. Foden gets it down and then uses De Bruyne, who plays the pass through the inside right position to Walker, who went down under the challenge that came in on him from Raheem Sterling actually, and the referee has given the free kick against City, and Walker now is running across. He's given the free kick against Walker for his challenge on Sterling, and Walker protests.
Well, I'm just about to see it back. I mean, it's the old saying, both, as the contact happens, both go to ground, both put their arms in the air, both look to the referee to say that they've been fouled. It's a brilliant bit of play. The ball slid in behind the full-back by Kevin De Bruyne, and it's not all one way. They're both running for the ball. Raheem Sterling goes to get there, thinks he's going to get there.
They are looking.
And Kyle Walker just steps across him, just puts his foot, plants his foot in the ground into the position, which then means that Raheem Sterling has to kick through. Is that Kyle Walker fouling Sterling? Is that Sterling fouling Kyle Walker? We see it so often.
I think Walker fouling Sterling. I think the referee's got that right, and it's that VAR says no penalty. Pep Guardiola puts his hands on his face, smiles falsely. Good body language though. Chelsea playing the ball back to Fernandes. Fernandes right-footed to Palmer on the edge of the penalty area. City here holding their breath as Gusto slips it forward, but City are back in numbers. Here is the former City man, Palmer, doing well, crossing left-footed. That's headed away from near the edge of the 6-yard box by Walker. Bounces down, City look to break, takes a double bounce off Alvarez. De Bruyne now, De Bruyne with the pass for Foden. Chelsea defenders trying to get back. Foden with a cross. Oh, Haaland shoots wide. It was an awkward hike, arriving on it 10 yards out, but he couldn't get his leg high enough, and in the end shot wide.
Oh, believe it or not, I don't think he expected it to get to him. Brilliant blistering break from Manchester City. Phil Foden put it in before anybody was really ready. It caught Ben Chilwell out. I think it caught Haaland out. Haaland thought Chilwell was going to get the ball. He couldn't. The ball came at him so quickly. Haaland just wasn't ready to finish it behind him, but so close for City.
Yeah, just couldn't quite get his leg over it, as they used to say on Test Match Special. As Gusto plays the ball back to Gallagher and then back to Disasi. It was a chance though for the big man, and for once he looked too big, didn't he? Looked rather awkward.
Yeah, well that's 3 opportunities now, 2 headers in the first half. That opportunity there where actually I think we're just so used to seeing him find the back of the goal, we're seeing him score goals that it's always a surprise when he misses them.
Yeah, scored 2 goals, didn't he, here last week against your old club Everton, but actually has not scored in 5 of his last 6 appearances. And now Jackson breaks away for Chelsea into the box. Jackson across, and the arriving Gallagher. There was a challenge in on him from Diaz, and under that pressure he actually sort of scooped it wide. But that was a chance for Chelsea. Goal kick Manchester City.
Yeah, continuing to look dangerous on the break, and the decision to play Jackson through the middle again is paying off, because he's just running off both centre halves either side in behind the fullbacks and getting in with a very simple straight passing. And he got in there. I thought actually he should have picked his head up and tried to pick Conor Gallagher out earlier, and he eventually did play the pass. It was such a difficult finish for the Chelsea midfielder, but again, Chelsea are a threat.
Chelsea looking at potentially 3 wins out of 3 away from home in their last 3 matches. A long way to go yet though. Over half an hour here at the Etihad against Manchester City, who've won their last 11 in all competitions. Here is Foden on the right hand side, but not really got into their stride yet today. Here's a man who might change that. De Bruyne with the cross, but it's over Haaland. Might reach Doku, off the head of a defender. Gusto. Chelsea get out on him quickly. Palmer. So here is Ake, turns 29 tomorrow. Nathan Ake, Diaz. Now ball out to De Bruyne, hair flopping, curls it in over Haaland, bounces all the way through to Doku. Haaland was jumping with Disasi. Doku taking on Palmer, who goes with him. He's looking for Ake on the overlap. Back heel flick to Ake, who plays it off Palmer, and the ball bounces behind into the lower tier of the stand to our left. It's corner for Manchester City, their first of the second half. You can't take your eyes off this, Leon Osman. This is absolutely fascinating. Manchester City being tested here in a way really they rarely are at home. De Bruyne playing this ball in, headed across the box, bounces down for Chelsea. Jackson's going to take it away, he's going to run it away for Chelsea, still going into the centre circle, and then overhits the pass downfield for Sterling, so Ederson was able to come out and just collect that like a central defender. Manchester City have started again.
Yeah, opportunity again. I think that's just the way the second half's going to go.
First time ball from De Bruyne. If that had come off to Doku, that would have been something else. But it was just slightly mistimed, so Chelsea were able to clear. Gusto was able to get to it.
That's close. I think both teams are just going to keep swinging now. City have to go forward. Chelsea are going to force themselves forward again. A brilliant run from Jackson. They run 40 yards, like 50 yards nearly with the ball, running at speed and couldn't be caught. And again, just this pass, just that moment of concentration, just let him down crucially.
We come here so often, Leon, and see Manchester City brilliantly run rings round teams and just keep possession. This is a match here against Chelsea, mid-table Chelsea, where you genuinely do not know who is going to score next. And here's Palmer, who gets away from Alvarez. Jackson ahead of him. Palmer slides a ball to Gusto. Gusto's low ball in. Sterling's there. Oh, saved by Ederson. And it comes out for the follow-up. That's headed away. Bounces back to Chilwell. It was Chilwell with that second shot. So close to a second for Chelsea. Ball still in play on the left-hand side. And Fernandes looks for Chilwell. Chilwell with the cross all the way to Gusto, takes it down on his knee, but it bounced away from him there. Chelsea are all over Manchester City here, looking for a second. It's a question of whether they're going to be able to find the killer blow. But City are back in possession now, back in position, and Chelsea have to go back to the halfway line.
Wow, John, I'm not sure I've ever seen a better save with the feet. I mean, the way Ederson got across that goal then, and the way it came at him so quickly, all he had was instinct and all he had was his feet. He just managed to slide tackle across his own goal line. Whether it was Sterling or Jackson, Sterling must have thought he'd scored. He connected with it well, hard, low, pretty much in the corner, not too far away, but magnificent save from Ederson, keeps City in the game.
Yep, keeps it at 1-0 to Chelsea. This is 5 Live, BBC Sounds. Might be plenty for you to talk about on 606 tonight with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. And here's Fernandes playing the ball forward for Jackson, but he won't get there first ahead of Diaz, who's able to turn it back to Ederson. Yeah, terrific save from Ederson. It's an Ederson kind of save, that, wasn't it? Sprawled, threw himself, spread himself brilliantly, and Sterling arriving. Just couldn't get the touch to send it past him. And City with it on the halfway line. Survived. So City with Ake on the halfway line. And here's Doku on the left-hand side. Doku taking on Palmer. Little ball back towards Ake again. And Doku's found some space. Into the box he goes. Defender in front of him. Still Doku. Takes on Gusto. Pulls it across, but Disasi was there at the near post, able to control it. Haaland's all over the back of him, forcing him wide. I mean, he's towering over Disasi. He's pushing him down towards the corner quadrant. And it bounces out of play. And in the end, he's won a throw-in off Disasi, which is taken back by Ake. The City supporters, quite a number of them on their feet to our left. That's the end that Manchester City are attacking towards. Those 2 Super League matches that are being played. It is Catalan 8, Warrington 4, and in the Castleford-Wigan game, Richard Stead.
Yes, they held out for 11 minutes, John, but then Liam Marshall has crossed for the Warriors, unconverted, but Cass have it all on. It's 54 minutes going forward. We're going to have another try here. Wigan have just crossed, and that's signed, sealed and delivered. Cruz Leeming with the score, 24-4, with a kick to come.
And you can watch it on BBC 2 right now. City putting pressure on the Chelsea defence. Rodri on the edge of the area. They've won another throw-in after a block by Chelsea. Apparently in the first half, Enzo Fernandez, Leon, made 4 blocks. He blocked 4 Manchester City shots. So that shows you what the worth is of Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo, who's been excellent today so far. Caicedo on a yellow card. Doku with the ball on the left-hand side. Doku up against Palmer, goes for the byline. Palmer goes with him. Doku turns, gives it back towards Ake. Ake back centrally towards Diaz. Square from him. De Bruyne was actually running his fingers through his hair as the ball came towards him there. He can do anything, Leon.
He can do it all.
He can. He's like Action Man.
Oh, how we'd wish for that, John.
The finest. He's now got the finest hair in football, of course. Even better than Robbie Savage. Here is Foden. Foden back in towards De Bruyne. Back to the right-hand side. Walker is there. Takes a touch. Here's the cross from Walker. But up goes Colwell to head it away. Then comes out for Ake. This is looking more familiar here. Manchester City at home. They've got their opponents pinned back into their defensive third. Now it's out to Walker on the right-hand side. Chelsea have got everyone apart from Jackson behind the ball. De Bruyne, left-footed across field, bounces up for Doku. Palmer comes across. Doku's ball into Ake on the edge of the penalty area. A slip on the edge of the box by Gallagher, so Ake was able to give it to Doku. It drifts into the penalty area, gives it to Akanji. Akanji's ball across is controlled and cleared by Enzo Fernandez. That's not another block, but he was in the right place.
Yeah, look how hard Nicholas Jackson's working as well, and Cole Palmer up behind and
Palmer on Ake.
Yeah, and he's going to get a booking. I'm not sure it was a booking, in my opinion. But that's been the difference of what I've seen about Chelsea today compared to other teams I've seen come here to the Etihad. Not only are they working hard, not only are they tactically set up in good positions, they're making contact, they're making it awkward, they're happy to make fouls. I've seen Conor Gallagher give Rodri as tough an awkward a day as anything. Rodri was trying to swing that away to get him away from him moments ago. They're just making it really awkward and uncomfortable for this City team to really get anything going.
Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. We don't often say Manchester City 0 here in the last half hour of a match in any competition. They've scored in every Premier League match they've played here for well over 2 years. Here is Doku. Doku takes on Palmer. Left-footed cross all the way to the back post. Foden shoots across goal. It's blocked on the edge of the 6-yard box and it's cleared away. Alvarez had a swing. Haaland had a swing. And in the end, Caicedo said thank you very much as the ball landed at his feet and was able to whack it away towards the halfway line. They're getting closer, City.
Yeah, again, Jeremy Doku at the heart of it. He's been brilliant. He's just prepared to take the ball and say, come on, I'm going to make something happen, and hangs it up to the back post. Foden has a lot of time to look at this, and he doesn't quite catch it as smoothly as he would like it. Then a ricochet, then it's anybody's guess. Haaland and Alvarez both having a go at it.
City coming in. De Bruyne clips it to the back post. That's headed away by Gusto, almost on his knees. Chested down by Rodri. He leaves it for Foden. Foden, edge of the box against Gallagher. Now to Doku, still inside the penalty area. Doku somehow finds Foden. Then back to Rodri with a shot. But he's hit it, left-footed, well wide and high as Chelsea players arrived on either side of him. Goal kick.
Yeah, this is more like Manchester City though. Really pinning Chelsea back inside the Chelsea penalty area. Such tight spaces. Doku, Foden, able to take the ball, able to move the ball. Ended up with that shot over the top of the crossbar. But this is the first time we've had a chance to see
yellow card for
Ederson save moments ago. It's brilliant play down the right-hand side. It's a double save actually from Ederson. Not only does he scramble across to make the save with his right foot, he then jumps back up to make a save at his his far post as well. Brilliant goalkeeping from him.
Super double save it was from Ederson to keep it at only 1-0 to Chelsea. And then at the other end there we saw, I mean, it could easily have dropped for a Manchester City player inside the penalty area. I think there's more of that to come, Leon, in the remaining less than half an hour now.
Yeah, I expect to see more of that at both ends of the pitch. I expect to see Manchester City creating chances like that. The way they can move the ball, the players they have, but similarly, I expect to see Chelsea create at least another big chance.
City come down the right-hand side now. It is Foden, arms swinging. Walker to his right, plays the ball. Walker pulls it across on the slide, but it was blocked actually by Chilwell, and it fell for Chelsea. And Fernandez wins a throw-in halfway inside his own half. Going to see a change now for Chelsea, and Nkunku is going to come on for Raheem Sterling. So getting on for midway through the second half. Nkunku replacing Sterling. There's the reaction to Sterling. I mean, it's not. You wouldn't call it that he's had a hostile reaction here.
No, and it's not followed by the claps.
But he's obviously scored the goal. The only goal of the match so far. So Nkunku coming on. So I guess, well, let's see. Nkunku has played as the man through the middle in his brief Chelsea career so far. He's had injuries, obviously. Former Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig player. He actually scored a hat-trick. Do you remember he scored a hat-trick here in the Champions League a couple of years back for Leipzig? And Manchester City making a change as well. So Nkunku is on, Alvarez is off, and Bernardo Silva is able to come back on. So I'm not sure how much he's been able to train since Tuesday night after the quite bad challenge that he had for the injury. But Pep Guardiola is thinking we need Bernardo Silva, and I can understand why.
Yeah, I can understand both substitutions, and you're right. I think it looks like Nicholas Jackson who's gone out to that left-hand side where Raheem Sterling was playing. Maybe Sterling only had an hour in him. Oh, he'd had a good hour. And you're right, I think Alvarez just wasn't quite getting into the spaces Bernardo Silva may get into.
City coming forward, Haaland with a chance here, deflected and then pushed wide. Well defended by Chelsea. The defender slid in there. I think it took a touch after Haaland had the shot, but it was pushed round by Petrovic, and now Doku, after the corner was taken short, shot wildly, got right underneath it. But in there again, the challenge was coming in. Gusto sliding in front of the shot, so he forced Doku to rush. Goal kick.
Yeah, and nothing has been given easy to this Chelsea team, and even Haaland being slid down the side. Effort on target. Good half block by Disasi, just takes the pace off it. Oh, Petrovic to get the proper save in. And even that shot from Doku, you're right. I mean, Chelsea have worked ever so hard in this game. Whether they can keep this up, this tempo, incredible.
Yeah. 1-0 Chelsea lead. And Haaland denied again. Ball played forward by Palmer for Gallagher. And Gallagher's ball to Nkunku. And Nkunku shoots, but the defender was there to block. However, it bounces for Chelsea, but then Fernandes takes it off the toe of Jackson. And Fernandes shoots wildly over. And Jackson is hopping mad. He is absolutely furious that Fernandes got involved.
Yeah, I mean, that was the second opportunity. The first one was a big chance for Nkunku. It just had all the hallmarks of the Jackson chance in the first half, where the ball came across the penalty area. He needed to hit it first time. He allowed, but he wanted to take a touch. It just didn't work out for him.
Now frustration because Doku's adjudged to have fouled Gusto down in the right back position. And looking at it again, I think Nkunku might have been in offside position if the ball had ended up in the back of the net at the other end. Leon?
Yeah, just seeing it again, probably would have. And just see the replay of Jackson going mad at Enzo. Jackson coming onto it on his right foot, trying to bend it into the top corner. Enzo coming at it, running away from the goal, swinging with his left. Jackson's got every right to be furious there, but the big chance was moments before. Gallagher beat the offside line brilliantly, and Nkunku naively ran offside. He didn't need to, and then he didn't finish it either. So a big chance again for Chelsea. They just got it wrong and let City off the hook.
So 1-0 Chelsea lead. So this would leave Manchester City in third place. They would have one match in hand on the other two, but Liverpool currently 57 points, Arsenal 55, Manchester City 52. So Liverpool would have a 5-point advantage over Manchester City. Plenty of time to go though, still a quarter of the match, and we have some commentaries of note coming up over the course of the coming weeks, not least 5 Live, the place to listen to. Liverpool against Manchester City, Manchester City against Arsenal, the Manchester Derby, all of the Champions League matches, next month's internationals, and next weekend the Carabao Cup final. 5 Live, the place for Liverpool against Chelsea, and that match is looking slightly different, isn't it, with Chelsea in this sort of position and Liverpool picking up injuries today. But that's next weekend. This is now. Here's Foden bringing it in from the right hand side, then Rodri back towards Diaz shuffling forward with the ball, little pass infield, and it bounces off another Chelsea man, Haaland, through the middle, head down, but he's challenged, ball breaks away. Chelsea are off on the counter-attack again. Nkunku making a run through the middle. It's Jackson in possession on the left-hand side. Jackson, who set up the goal for Sterling in the first half, but just slows the momentum of the attack. Walker comes in, gives it to Fernandes. Fernandes' ball into the box, just dribbles all the way through to Ederson, who can pick it up.
Yeah, again, just worrying for Manchester City, the ease at which Chelsea are able to break with numbers and get in those positions. Manchester City is so used to sustaining attacks, and the most the team gets out is to the halfway line. Chelsea are getting all the way to their goal.
Doku down the left-hand side, cuts in field, gives it to Foden, who is quite central actually, near the right corner of the box. Then Kevin De Bruyne takes it up. Colwill comes in with a challenge, just gets something on it to knock it away behind for another corner. This one from the left-hand side. So City send up Akanji. Ruben Dias walks purposefully, head down. He knows where he's going, into the 6-yard box. Akanji follows him in there. Haaland's near the penalty spot. And here comes the corner from De Bruyne, which is headed away very well by Disasi for Chelsea. From one number 2 to the other, to Kyle Walker of Manchester City. Now Bernardo Silva into the action for the first time. The substitute, left foot shot from him from 22 yards. That's blocked by Jackson. And then back it goes to the halfway line again as Manchester City start once more. Bernardo Silva, what a man to be able to bring on into a situation like this, where it's going to be tight for Chelsea, for Manchester City in the defensive third, tight situations. There's no one better in that position than the Portuguese. Ball out towards the right hand side. Walker low and forward towards Foden, who slides in, keeps it for De Bruyne. De Bruyne's passed into the penalty area, but Colwill comes across, is able to get there comfortably first ahead of Haaland, forced to take it out to the far side, and then he's given it away. He hasn't kept it in play, but Fernandes hoovers up brilliantly, comes across. He sensed the danger there, Fernandes. In the end he runs the ball out of play, but he was an important part of the defensive procedure for Chelsea there, as the throw-in's taken quickly. Rodri with a shot on the edge of the area, that hits a Chelsea man. Colwill inside the box, 1 or 2 shouts for handball, but referee madly ignores that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was a penalty kick. I think City are shouting for anything they possibly can at the moment. They're still trying to go through those very central positions.
Oh, stretch from Chilwell to put it out of play. He had to make that against Foden, but he did, Leon.
Yeah, just about. And as you mentioned, he gets that wrong, and it's definitely a penalty kick. And the speed Phil Foden has, and the speed he was arriving at as well. Brilliantly timed tackle.
Another change for Chelsea, and Cole Palmer, the Manchester City fan, the Manchester boy, booed off here. But many of them actually now are getting up. Many of these City fans love to have seen him make it here properly, but he's gone to Chelsea, and hasn't he done well this season? And off he comes to be replaced for Chelsea by Trevor Chalobah. So Palmer off and Chalobah comes on. So let's see what that's going to mean at the back for Chelsea. Presumably 3 central defenders.
It looks like he's just gone in behind Disasi at the moment, in between Disasi and Gusto. Probably looks like Chelsea are happy to change systems at the moment.
And this for Chalobah is his first appearance of the season. He's been out all season with a hamstring injury that he actually aggravated at one stage, hence the fact he's only able to come onto the field for the first time now in February. One of their many injuries that they've had this season, Chelsea. So Chalobah is on, and Manchester City lead by 1-0. Lines open for 606 08 085 909 693 as Akanji receives it and plays it out to Foden, and now De Bruyne on the box on the right, ball into the penalty area, took a deflection off Colwill, I think, and that carried it closer to Petrovic, and the relieved Chelsea goalkeeper was able to drop on it.
That could have gone anywhere. That was full stretch, just skidding and spinning off the toe as I'm watching the replay. Took all the pace off it, allowed Petrovic to jump on it, and they're celebrating everything, those defenders. Colwill, Disasi really enjoying defending and keeping Manchester City out at the moment. And Pochettino's just made that substitution. He's changed system. Interesting, 1-0 up, 20 minutes to go. You're changing a system that's been successful for this part of the game.
Yeah, and here come Manchester City again, trying to find a way through it. De Bruyne with a cross, headed away by Colwill, out to Jackson, who takes it down. Jackson gives it to Gallagher. Gallagher goes for the early pass forward down the left hand side. Chilwell racing onto it forward. The left wing back as he is now over the halfway line, goes for an early ball cross field, but Ake is going to cut that out. Got a good sight of it. Couldn't find the pass to the other right wing back, Gusto. Although Chalobah's done well, kept it from going out of play, gives it to Gusto. Chelsea have got no one inside the penalty area though, and Gusto, as he tries to weave his way in there himself, is dispossessed. And Manchester City, actually with Doku, unusually for Manchester City, give it away, give it back to Chelsea. Here's Caicedo, the Ecuadorian, the octopus, as they called him when he was growing up. in northern Ecuador, many thousands of miles away from the occasion that we have here unfolding in front of us. Ball played up to Nkunku. The French international heads it back for Gusto, and Gusto is able to take it on, but again there's no one ahead of him, so he has to turn and check back. This is not Chelsea's game now. They're thinking counter-attack, and so therefore Manchester City, however, are forced to get most of the players back behind the ball. 1-0 Chelsea lead. The champions are facing what would be their first home defeat of the season, and this after a run, well, they've won every game that they've played since the middle of December, since they set off for Jeddah. Well, Petrovic passes the ball out to Disasi, who took his eye off it, miscontrolled it out for a throw-in. Chelsea have got to get everything right now if they're going to see this through. Pep Guardiola is almost on the pitch, and the fourth official, Keith Stroud, comes and tells him. De Bruyne now into Bernardo Silva inside the penalty area, his ball across, that was blocked by Chalobah, chips again towards the back post, too close to goalkeeper Petrovic, who can take a comfortable catch, and then underarms it out to Fernandes, and Fernandes speeds away from Rodri, who gets back there. Rodri puts the challenge in, Walker intercepts. Manchester City, there you are, that's what that's done for the home supporters, that's raised them, the work of Rodri and Walker together. Rodri again, his ball, Foden, lovely touch, Foden's ball, too many blue shirts of Chelsea in there. Manchester City take up possession again. We've got just over 15 minutes to play. Chelsea are 15 minutes away from victory here. Doku back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's little ball in. Foden. De Bruyne's gone down off the ball. Play continues. Doku into the box. Too many Chelsea players in front of him, crowded out. De Bruyne's gone down, still holding his left leg, but he is moving. He's trying to get to his feet. Bernardo Silva's got it on the left-hand side with the outside of his boot. Plays it in field. De Bruyne is now onto his knees and climbing to his feet. So Manchester City keep possession, and De Bruyne's not happy. Doku gets the ball down on the left-hand side into the box, slips it across. Lovely touch from Bernardo Silva, who turns and shoots goalwards. It's deflected wide. Flicking it up with the outside of his heel, Leon, in the opposition penalty area with Chelsea players all around him.
Yeah, there's not many that can do what Bernardo Silva can do with the ball in such a, basically on the spot, in the way he manipulates it and move it. Brilliant, nearly got an Everton goal, but he's forced this corner.
Into the last 15 minutes we go. De Bruyne to take this, so he's clearly okay. De Bruyne's corner into the near post, that's headed down, out to Foden though, back to De Bruyne, the reverse ball to Foden, who had to change direction rapidly, but then in came Gusto with the tackle, sliding tackle to put it out of play. Already a ball boy's given the ball to De Bruyne. They can take a quick throw in, level with the edge of the penalty area. De Bruyne back to Foden, crossing from the left, a high one towards the back post. It's over Haaland, bounces to Bernardo Silva, he gets it down, curls it back in all the way beyond Ake and the far post from where he played it. Goal kick, and still on 5 Live we have a scoreline of Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. Leon Osman.
Yeah, and you mentioned Pep Guardiola being on the pitch 2 or 3 minutes ago. First time I've had to tell you why. He's trying to make a slight tactical change. He's tried to make sure Phil Foden comes really central now, and he wants Kyle Walker to go and try and play really outside on the right. Whether that's a reaction to Chelsea's changing system, with Chelsea looking like 2 up front with Jackson and Nkunku and Chilwell being out on that side, but he certainly doesn't want Phil Foden out on that touchline anymore. He wants to see his young Englishman playing centrally.
Manchester City, who've not lost here for 15 months, 1-0 down. De Bruyne on the edge of the area, leaned into by Gallagher, no free kick. De Bruyne went down, and then Jackson challenged well by Akanji, just forward of the centre circle. Jackson stays down. The City fans saying, don't put the ball out this time. When there's a Chelsea man down, they don't. Doku attacks, Doku into the area, across it goes, and cleared away by Colwell, who came across. Again, a little deflection on the cross. It could have dropped for a Manchester City man instead. Chelsea cleared. De Bruyne again, oh lovely ball, Haaland heads over! Oh! How was that not 1-1? The big Norwegian diving onto it 6 yards out and headed it over the top, and it stays 1-0 Chelsea.
Oh, he just doesn't miss them. 6 yards out, maybe just a touch off central towards the front of the goal. Ball in from the left foot of Kevin De Bruyne, out swinging, coming onto the head of Erling Haaland, and I don't know, he just takes his eyes off it, hits the top of his head, it goes way over the bar. It's not even close to being on target. Really poor header, so uncharacteristic, and City have got to go again.
Well, some people say he's robot-like, don't they? But that proves that he is actually, Leon, human.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big moment. City need the goal. City needed to get back level, give themselves still time to maybe even try and win this game. Usually that's bread and butter for him since he's joined the club.
Yeah, that is a formality. He gobbles up bread and butter like that. Here's Rodri to Foden. Now Rodri into the penalty area. Manchester City have not lost in the last 55 matches that Rodri has played. Comes to nothing. Back to Doku on the left-hand side. No Grealish today, so that's not an option. To try Grealish. Doku turns, spins, goes to the byline. Gusto stays with him. De Bruyne now into the edge of the box. Rodri back to Doku again. De Bruyne gets there first inside the penalty area ahead of Chalobah, and then plays it out of play. De Bruyne off Gallagher for a throw-in for a corner to Manchester City. De Bruyne to take this. Always when De Bruyne plays Chelsea, it's a reminder, isn't it, of how Chelsea once had him and let him go. De Bruyne takes the corner against them to the back post. Haaland, but that's headed away. He was beaten to it by Chilwell. Well defended by the Chelsea captain. Now Bernardo Silva, though, trouble, curling right across the face of goal, but beyond the far post, and it's a goal kick. And now it's Bernardo Silva who's running his hands through his hair. 1-0 Chelsea lead. Goal kick to the visitors. Petrovic has already been booked for wasting time, the goalkeeper, so he'll have to get on with it. Lines are open for 606 08 085 909 693. Text 85058. Highlights on Match of the Day tonight, BBC One. You can watch them anytime on the iPlayer, and the 5 Live Football Daily podcast will have it all of today's reaction for you as usual for free in the morning from BBC Sounds, where you will be able to listen to all BBC radio. Here is Walker with a ball on the halfway line. Walker playing it, of course, to Ake. We're into the last 10 minutes now, Leon. Time is running out for the champions here. That last attempt was City's 25th attempt on goal. Only 3 on target. Doku curls this into the back post. Haaland somehow gets there and hooks it back. I'm not sure how he did that. I'm not sure how he managed to pull that back. But Chelsea clear.
Ridiculous athleticism.
Hit Chilwell on the chest as well.
I mean, it's high with his right foot, and you're right, then it hit Chilwell on the chest, climbs for the penalty only from the fans.
I don't think you get penalties when it hits you on the chin.
No, absolutely. Well, you shouldn't do, John. I think I've seen them given.
I'd like to think VAR would spot that. Doku on the left-hand side. Doku plays it into the box, bounces back to him. Gusto whacks it into the stand. Chelsea have not beaten Manchester City since the Champions League final in Porto. Cesare Casadei coming on now for Nicholas Jackson. So will they make that change? What's the latest? Castleford, Wigan, Richard Stead.
Yeah, it's game over here really, John. We've got 4 minutes to go and Liam Marshall's just scored his second try. Wigan's 5th. It's 30 points to 4 with a kick to come. Cass have shown lots of heart. Wigan have scored lots of points, and only one of those things wins games.
And in the other match, Catalan 14, Warrington 10. So Cesare Casadei, who spent first half of this season on loan at Leicester, the young Italian, is coming on for what is only his second appearance for Chelsea into the midfield. He's a talented player, Casadei. Now he's in the top league, and now he's coming into the hurly-burly of a match against the champions that his team have a chance of winning. 9 minutes to go. Bernardo Silva in the box, very congested. He's able to chip it across over Haaland. The arriving Walker shoots across the penalty area, bounces out. Rodri's there! It's 1-1! It was deflected in, but it found the net, and Rodri runs away, both fists clenched in the air. It's like he scored the winner in the Champions League final all over again. What he's done is make it Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. With 6 minutes to play.
Yeah, they're just so good in tight areas, Chelsea, and the pressure is just so persistent. They force you back and back and back. No matter how many bodies you get in there, sometimes if the ball just ricochets to the right person, then there's an opportunity coming their way, and it falls to Rodri. It's not an easy chance by any stretch of the imagination. It's on the half volley, it's coming away from him, it's on his left foot. He's under pressure, but he hits it brilliantly. Gusto tries to get a block on it, hits his thigh and goes in to the back of the goal, and saw from the reaction, the emotional reaction from all those City players, straight back into their own half. Let's try and get this one.
Leon, I don't think the celebration police will like the way that he celebrated that. Like I say, I mean, that was a proper celebration. He ran away, both fists punching the air to the halfway line. That shows the battle that Manchester City have been in today.
Absolutely, old school emotion. No other thought than it just all pouring out at once, and then realising we need to get back and get the ball and kick off and go again. But Chelsea, I don't know, maybe people will look at the substitutions that Pep made. Maybe he had tired players, maybe they were the only substitutions he could make, but his team went from really causing Manchester City problems on the counter-attack to being a bit negative and sitting in and changing the system and having less and less to really trouble Manchester City with. That means City can pour more players forward. That means Kyle Walker, as I said, can go play right wing. That means Foden can come and play more central, and you're sort of playing into City's hands when you do that, and they've been punished.
Yeah, and free kick, Bernardo Silva jumping in on Caicedo, so that's a yellow card for Bernardo Silva for that challenge. Yep, I'm sure that's how they'll be analysing it. I would guess on Match of the Day tonight, and if they don't, Leon, you can do it tomorrow night when you're on.
Redo the whole thing.
Just do it again. Different audience.
Oh yeah, but it's
1-1.
This Chelsea team have played really well today. They've come here and put in a brilliant performance again. Showed the standard that they're capable of playing at. They show what they can do. If they take their chances, this game should be out of sight for Manchester City. They shouldn't be able to get back into it, but the game's still alive.
Yeah, it is. And you know what Manchester City will be thinking now? To try and match the efforts of Liverpool and Arsenal earlier in the day and win this match, even though we've got 5 minutes to play. Mind you, don't discount Chelsea grabbing one. They've had their chances in the second half. That save from Ederson, offside flag against Gusto. The save from Ederson, from Raheem Sterling and Chilwell, and then in the first half the chance that Jackson had. Chelsea will look at this and think we could should have won this game here today. They might yet lose it. Manchester City, they love a late goal, don't they? All the top clubs love a late goal. And here is Rodri, struck that ball in. He was just inside the penalty area. It was classic Rodri pile driver, wasn't it? As he arrived onto it, took a flick off a defender's knee. That gave Petrovic no chance. So it is Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. 6:06 on the way with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. Robbie, listening to him at half-time, is raring to go tonight. Caicedo plays it back to Petrovic, who whacks it downfield. So give them a call, 08 085 909 693. Tomorrow, all the football covered. Commentary on Sheffield United, Brighton and Luton, Manchester United. And then Tom Lockyer, by the way, is a guest on Monday night on the Monday Night Club, the Luton captain, so don't miss that from 7 o'clock. So here we go into the final stages. The Etihad Stadium in great voice behind their team. The full blue moon with Manchester City. Rodri then picks out Kevin De Bruyne, whose pass is over Bernardo Silva. He jumped with Chalobah, comes out to Doku on the left-hand side. Doku up against Gusto, angles it back. Here's Rodri again. Rodri curls it in this time. That is headed up, not clear of the penalty area. Disasi gets a header on it, cleared away by Nkunku on the edge of the area. Back to the halfway line it goes. 3 minutes to play, plus added time. Been lots of substitutions in the second half, so we might have 3, 4, maybe something like that. Come on City, they shout. They want their team to win this game and make it 12 wins in a row. Doku is forced into the full-back position. Doku twists. Now he's up against Gusto. Casadei's in there as well. Bernardo Silva glides across, comes out with the ball in his white boots, gives it back to Ake. Ake back down the line to Doku. Doku's thought about the ball into the penalty area. That's what Foden wanted. Instead comes back to Rodri, and Rodri is dispossessed by Gallagher, and Gallagher still going, and Nkunku makes a run. He leaves it now. Gallagher for Enzo Fernandez, who turns, uses Chilwell. Then it's back to Fernandez again. Fernandez lifts one downfield, but Chilwell is in an offside position. Didn't need VAR for that one. And it's a free kick to City halfway inside their own half. 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, again, good play from Chelsea. The way they won the ball back, the way they got forward, Gallagher and Enzo Fernandez, they just didn't have anything ahead of them. They didn't have any runners really until Chilwell made that run from deep, and unfortunately for him, He just couldn't hold it long enough until Enzo was ready to make that pass.
We'll go to Castleford in a moment, but Manchester City coming forward here. De Bruyne, high ball right across the penalty area beyond Bernardo Silva, jumped for it, but it bounced all the way out of play, and it is a throw into Chelsea. There'll be a no hurry here. The rain has gone. Manchester City are pressing on. Let's get the full-time news then. Castleford, Wigan. Wigan won at Richard Stead.
They have indeed, the reigning champs, off to a winning start in 2024 by 32 points, 2-4, 5 tries, 2 for Liam Marshall, restricting Castleford to just 2 penalties, although the Tigers played with 12 men for over 50 minutes. It's finished 32-4 Wigan.
The reigning champions of the Premier League could be dropping points here for the first time in 2024. Catalan 16, Warrington 10 is the latest score, by the way, almost over. Foden back to Diaz. Manchester City piling the pressure on Chelsea. We are now in the 90th minute. Ake back to Doku. 1-1 the score. Doku, ball stationary, just gets it moving again on his right foot, curls it back to De Bruyne, centrally from him, the ball bouncing down, and then touches it to his right to Akanji back across to Nathan Ake, a touch from Ake, then back to Doku, left corner of the penalty area, right footed ball in, which is headed across goal by Disasi, and out of play for another corner from the left hand side.
Well, there was nobody in there really for Manchester City, but Disasi was right to head it clear. He wasn't sure, it was aiming softly towards that far post. It may be a bit of uncertainty with the goalkeeper, but he was right to head it.
4 minutes of added time we will have. Not been signalled yet. De Bruyne waiting to take this corner from the left. His corner to the back post. Haaland heads it down, but it bounces straight up. And Petrovic is able to catch it in front of his eyes. Not been Haaland's day. We don't often say that. 2 headers in the first half, Leon. And then that big opportunity. Had the shot deflected, of course, that was well saved by Petrovic. But the big chance from the header that he wasn't able to direct down underneath the crossbar.
Yeah, the look on his face says it all. He's just not been able to connect with the ball well today. It's just not been his day, and I don't think I've said that before.
Here's Gusto on the right hand side. Chelsea certainly not giving up hopes of winning this. High cross, Cassidy heads it back across, and Kunku with the shot on the turn. Under pressure from Walker, though, he's flung himself at it and just really helped it goalwards, where Ederson was able to take it down. So we are into those 4 minutes now. Less than 3.5 minutes to play. 6:06 coming up, but still plenty of action here. De Bruyne up towards Haaland and Foden, but that is all the way through from Kevin De Bruyne. The body language not good from Foden and Haaland there either.
Well, the pair of them made the exact same run and actually fell over each other. There was a stumble, they ran into each other. It's just been that kind of day for Manchester City. Things just haven't been as smooth as we're used to seeing from them.
Yep. They've not, as they say, hit their straps today consistently. Here's Foden outside the penalty area. They might still win it though. De Bruyne chips it into the back post. Doku's able to head it back across, but it falls to Chelsea, and it's half volleyed away by Cassidy up towards the halfway line, where Ake heads it and is then challenged and actually headed into by Cassidy, and Pep Guardiola runs down the touchline to where the two of them came together. And the fourth official, comically, Keith Stroud, runs after Guardiola, and it's a free kick to Manchester City on the left, and they're all friends.
Yeah, well, I think Pep was just doing it out of concern, because that looked like a big hit that Ake took to his head, and Pep Guardiola was the closest. He was the one right on hand.
De Bruyne with a cross now from the right, that hits the backside of Fernandes, who's gone down. Comes out to Walker. Walker's going to shoot, which he does. It flies away over the top of the bar by a yard or so. But Fernandes, I mean, he might have hit that. He might have been caught amidships.
Well, the ball hit him on the back, the kidney kind of area, yeah. And he just went to ground. In fact, for me, Kyle Walker it was a strange decision to take a shot from 35, 38 yards when Enzo Fernandez is on the ground. He's in a strange position. You can keep moving the ball. He's obviously not seriously injured. There's no head injury or anything involved. Keep moving the ball like City do. Shot from 40 yards nearly.
1-1. Now deep in added time. In the 3rd minute of added time. I can tell you Aldershot have beaten Altrincham 2-0 in the National League. Here's Walker. Walker now speeding away down the right hand side. Still going. Has a look up. He's got Kevin De Bruyne close at hand. First time pass from him to Foden. Won't be too many opportunities now for Manchester City to win this and keep the winning streak going. Diaz to Ake, now to the left hand side to Doku. Doku up against Gusto yet again, goes for the byline. Gusto sticks out a leg, the 20-year-old right back, or right wing back as he is now, and concedes another corner. And I make it, we are now well into the final minute, the 4th minute of added time. It's got to come now. How many late goals has this Manchester City team scored? De Bruyne with a high one to the back post. Haaland gets his head to it. Petrovic dives forward, punches it away, and then it's cleared away on the edge of the penalty area up to the halfway line by Colwell. Ederson's there, and Ederson very nearly, if he lost out to Nkunku there, he would have had a clear run at goal from the halfway line, but he just got a touch on it. This might be the last chance for Manchester City in this match. Out to the right hand side, Bernardo Silva, left footed ball in, Haaland battling for it, got his head to it, it bounces down and is cleared away, comes out to the edge of the area, shouts for handball. De Bruyne back into Doku, Doku shoots, that's blocked by Gusto, and then it's cleared away by Chalobah to the halfway line. Was that a handball they were shouting for in there, or was it a foul? Akanji is going to the referee. VAR will be looking. I make it, we've had 4 minutes now, last chance. Bernardo Silva lifting a volley across. Ake heads it across the box. Rodri with a header, it's deflected just wide. Hit the defender on the edge of the 6-yard box, Chalobah, and that deflected it crazily wide by a foot. Corner.
I'm not sure I knew an awful lot about it, to be honest. Yeah, the question for handball earlier, whether it hit the arm of Colwell, I think it hit Diaz's arm as well. I think it hit both of them.
VAR are looking, it says on the big screens here, they're looking for a possible penalty for handball.
I don't see how that can be a penalty. I think it hits Diaz's arm as well as it hits Colwell's. I think it hits Diaz's arm first. So in my opinion, I don't think that they can give that as a referee. Whether they're looking at the little slight tug of the shirt.
He's got a bit of his shirt there.
Yeah, I still don't think that's enough.
And the referee says it's been dismissed. All the players were around the referee there in the middle of the half. They've suddenly now had to run back into the penalty area to take up their positions for the corner. This is it, last chance. We're beyond 5 minutes now with the VAR check. Here's the corner, Bernardo Silva this time. Comes in, ball, Petrovic with a punch. He's missed it, but he's got enough on it to bounce it down. And there it is, 1-1. And Manchester City's winning run since the middle of December comes to an end. And Chelsea, Mauricio Pochettino's Chelsea, become the first visiting team to get anything from the champions here in their home stadium in 2024. Pochettino and Guardiola, I think they came together at the end of the match. I'm just looking at him down there, Pochettino. He'll be as pleased as punch with this. To win a point here, that is a great effort in the context of what City have been doing recently. Sterling with the opening goal in the first half, Leon, but Rodri with the late equaliser, which has actually rescued a point for the champions.
Yeah, brilliant performance. A brilliant 70 minutes, I think, from Chelsea, the way they played up till that point. I thought tactically they're exceptional. I thought they tested Manchester City more than I've seen anybody before this, putting them on the back foot, counter-attack really well, creating opportunities. I thought they were really physical with the Chelsea, with this City team, really actually making tackles, making fouls, happy to really rough them up, and they got their rewards for it by going ahead. But you can never write off this Manchester City team, even though they were under par, even though Chelsea defended really well. You always know that they'll create chances, and it was Rodri today who got that goal. So it may be an important point come the end of the season. There's disappointment on the faces of those Chelsea players out there today, but who knows come the end of the season how big a point that could turn out to be.
Well, Manchester City playing midweek on Tuesday night against Brentford, that's here. Liverpool play against Luton on Wednesday night. This must give Chelsea real heart for the cup final next weekend. Their recent run, 2 away wins against Palace and at Villa in the cup, and now a point here.
Yeah, absolutely. Results breed confidence, and I think anybody would say a draw probably at the Etihad feels like a win. So they'll go into it with a real good feeling about themselves. They'll know if they work as hard as they did today, they're a unit like they were today, they'll be difficult to beat, and they create chances. I thought the midfield three was as good as I've seen them all season. I think they've been disappointing overall, this Chelsea midfield, up till this point, but I thought they were outstanding today as a trio. And you take that into the cup final next weekend, you've definitely got a chance.
Yeah, good game, wasn't it? Enjoyed it.
Really good game of football, exactly what we were hoping it was going to be. We didn't get We didn't get 8 goals this time, we only got 2, John, but it was certainly just as good as the first, or nearly as good as the first game.
Yeah, thank you, Leon Osman. Yeah, so 2 draws between Manchester City and Chelsea this season. So you can talk about it in a moment with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606. But tomorrow, all of the sport covered from midday in 5 Live Premier League Sunday. We will have commentary on Sheffield United Brighton from 2 o'clock, Luton against Manchester United from 4:30. Champions League commentaries on Tuesday and Wednesday night, live from Italy and Portugal. In the morning there will be news on the Test match during the course of Weekend Breakfast, and then at 10 Colin Murray's new programme features Des Lynam in the morning from 10 o'clock, so don't miss that. But it's finished here at the Etihad Stadium in the Manchester rain. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1, so 6:06 on the way after the news on 5 Live with Dan Maudsley.